Form 1 and Form 2, 2015, you got like 87.5 staying in school. Form 4, by Form 4, 47.7 staying in school. And it is expected that in 2025, Form 4 should be 57% staying in school. 2030, 64.5. So even that data shows the need to be very proactive in terms of making sure that you have almost a similar transition as is happening in primary, the primary level, or that CBC, CBC level. Professors talked a lot about the methodology, and when I went to study for masters before coming to teach at the University of Nairobi, University of London, normally people teach law and people teach a lot of things in the universities are not taught how to teach. It is assumed somehow they know how to teach because they were taught. And then they were taught by people who didn't know how to teach, apart from education, where they have the methodology and so on. But there was an attempt to have a short course of how to teach. But basically, how the teaching happens, like now at the secondary level, and how these adults are also being treated the same as the young people, is that banking thing. You know, you stand like I'm standing, you give a lecture, and it's God's wisdom, and they must partake of it, and they should repeat when you give them an exam, they write what you told them. If they don't, they haven't learned. And if they challenge you, I remember the university, some of us trying to challenge teachers to ask for a discussion, and it was like, who are you? You know. So I think that, and professor is very methodical in terms of saying, you know, the pedagogy and the andragogy, those are different words, and sometimes one doesn't pronounce them and well. And in the center where he did, you know, that basic research, the students, you know, after he had given them a safe space to be able to say what they feel and to know that it will not be repeated anywhere else, even the name of the school not to be put in the study as such. When they were now careful, they were now clear about, they can say exactly what they feel. You know, they were saying that sometimes, you know, people get bored and, you know, it's not challenging, and they would like discussion, they would like, you know, many other methods. And that's an area where it is really necessary to know it's not easy to teach these adults the same way you teach the younger ones, and it works. And that is why the training is very important. And actually, in the book, it's clear that there isn't even a teacher training college so far, up to now, to teach adult, like a diploma, up to now. And that speaks volume about what the, you know, the people, you know, official people and so on, yet there is some way to go so that it is understood that there should actually be very deliberate, you know, training so that people can really teach in a proper way. I know that because of time, I will not, you know, maybe say, you know, all things, but I like the way in which Professor deals in each chapter, deals with the issues using the information from the Baraka Institute, apart from, of course, the literature, apart from the comparative perspective and so on, to demonstrate, like when it comes to like the people who are most likely to drop out, mostly it's the girls, and mostly through teenage pregnancies. And later, Professor demonstrates that the ones who want this second chance education are again the majority, are again the girls, the women now. And yet, we are shy to accept that education on whether one wants to call it sexual health or whatever term is felt to be easy. We don't emphasize that. And so we don't, and we get the consequences, and we have a problem. And the students, because there were students within the institution and also students who had gone over, had graduated from there, so that there were those two types of students. You know, some of them say they dropped because they were involved. They were involved pregnancy. Even one young guy who was, I think, in standard 7, and he was like standard 7, or he dropped because he was told that he has put a girl in the family where he will be jailed. So he ran away. And Professor says maybe that was not going to happen, but he was frightened, and he ran away. One other thing that is demonstrated in this work is these adult learners are very intentional about why they want to come back to school. And so these are people who are motivated. Nobody else is telling them you must go. Mostly, they are kind of motivated, and they were able to tell you why. And this is why I'm saying that when you look at that conversation of the students, the teacher, the instructors, the principal, all those people, you find that it tells you generally what happens in this world of school dropouts and adult education. Now, there's that question which maybe the policymakers have a problem with, of if you have a different track of curriculum, if you have different exams, are you going to say that the qualification at the end is the same, or it's an equivalent? And if it's an equivalent, will it be accepted to take people everywhere? They're looking at the watches, and therefore they're saying time element. So, so there's that question. That's an important question of how you navigate, so that, again, like in the American system, someone doesn't go through the secondary school equivalent, and then they are told that it's a lower equivalent, it's a lower. So in terms of policy making and so on, that has to be looked at. I think there were many things that one could say. As you can see, I have written many pages. But one thing that I want to say, is I also looked at this task force, the report of the Presidential Working Party on Education Reform. I looked at it, the Monavo Commission, especially from page 90 to page 95, where they explain about adult and continuing education. And actually, when you compare, and Professor did his work up to 2014 and to revise again for publication. And this thing, the Monavo very good work has come 2023. But when you look at this prior work and what they have, many of the things that they have said in terms of problems, in terms of what can happen, it's like they were looking at his work. And I looked at that and I said, okay, then it means his work is valid. If this commission is arriving at, where there are problems and so on, except they don't focus on why is there the problem of school dropouts. They offer possible solutions. But in terms of the problem of why, what is the cause problem? What is the cause? So that now one can address it properly. But I liked in terms of what they say, what they say in terms of in that area, you know, what is ailing the area. I think they have done a good job of that in the commission report, but interestingly, they don't recommend policy change. They don't, you know, they say that there are issues, but they don't recommend policy change. That kind of, Madam Riambo, that kind of, as somebody who is not in this field completely, but I mean, just reading the way, you know, a professor can read anything from another discipline. But there isn't, because that's very fundamental. I don't know whether that is left for the ministry, or is left for cabinet, or is left for, you know, but that would have been a very important recommendation, so that there is follow-up, and therefore the serious attack on this issue. And to conclude, what Professor said at the end, in terms of how he decided that he will not just do research and say these are the issues, these are the problems. He said when the initial research was how do you offer a second chance to these dropouts? But the research told him, actually, focus on the professional development of the instructors. And when you do that, they'll be better, and they will help, you know, these dropouts to achieve their goals. So he decided that he's going to offer a short-term course, you know, very well thought out, very, you know, very, you know, professional. Like it's like some in-service matter, which can also be developed into this pre-service, which can also be developed, so that it's saying these are the issues. Part of why you can resolve the question of the professional delivery is having these courses. And if it was possible for the ministry to actually look at work like this and now create a national program, you know, and even I was thinking that even at the counties, we used to have these centers done by the counties. That's another area to look at, because the counties have also capacity to come up with these centers. Like the question you asked, how does one register? The counties also, you know, were doing some of these, even scholarships. We need to give scholarships to people who come for a second chance and they don't have the wherewithal. But I liked what you did in terms of saying that this is possible solution for the professional development, and it's real. I'm not just doing research to say there are problems, but you're saying in this area, this is also how it can be sorted out. And even going beyond and saying, as a researcher, how have I professionally grown from this work? Because normally when we do our researches, we don't say that. We don't say, how has it changed me? Because if it hasn't changed me, it can't change anybody that I am saying will be involved in this center. So I am persuaded that this is a very important book, not just for Kenya and for the, you know, for the continent and anywhere where there is this kind of education. I am persuaded it's a very, very important book, and I wish the minister, I wish will be able to kind of interact with it, KICD, the examination people, and so on, because it is a game. It can be a game changer if embraced. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. May the Lord bless you. That was very thorough. You see the notes? Amazing. Yes, there's no question. Some of us are learning from you. And thank you, Professor, especially for what you did in our healthcare. I think that is a biggie in Makwele. God bless you. At this time, the author has a guest he wants to introduce because he has a function elsewhere. And so I will let him come to introduce him.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor, for that thorough review of the book. You understand it better than I do. Yes, this is an interesting day for us. We have people from all over, and I'm so glad to have one of my bosses with me from the US. It just happened that he's traveling to Kenya when I'm also here, and I told him, and we're involved in some also other teachings that with him somewhere. I told him I'll be here, and he said he was going to come. He's here today, and when he came in, I saw him taking pictures, and he mentioned that he's taking to his boss. He's my boss, but he's his boss. Lombo is doing in Kenya. I hope I will not be fired. So his name is, I never try to call his name. Call him a name, but it's Daji G. Mana. Dr. Daji Mana is coming to address us shortly because he has to go, then we shall go back to the program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Alain Leandre Betishumana. It's a very long name. I think it tells about how my father was so fond of names. And those names have made me. And so I wasn't really expecting to talk. I was just saying, okay, I'm going to come and support you. And so Lombo with me, we actually do collaborate weekly, actually. Yes. We are creating a program that is designed to teach chaplains in our corporation. And it's really adult education. And so some of the concepts you are reading in that book are actually also part of our discussions as we are also conceiving a program designed for that. So that's really the interaction we have in that. He recently joined our team, and it's such actually an honor and a pleasure for us to have someone with his caliber to be able to come and start impacting the chaplains that care for 120,000 employees. I just want you to really understand how much of a significance it is. The work we are really doing has got much impact. But one thing I want at least to leave with, which I see as a passion of Dr. Lombo, is the passion to transform the lives of people. And you have a lot of professors here, and if we are really educating people and we are not transforming their lives, then we are failing what we do. So the work we really do is to transform the lives of the people, but it's also a passion to give access to those who do not have access, because we have systems. Some of the systems, whenever I come in Africa, I challenge that because we are having a new generation, and then the generation of the Gen Zs, it's a new generation that wants freedom. It's a new generation that wants to do things on their own terms. And so some of the systems that we have inherited from the colonial power systems we've been indoctrinated in them. In some way, in some ways they have also transformed the way we also interact with our own self. And so I think what Dr. Lombo is almost saying, but not necessarily writing, is maybe there is an opportunity for us to unlearn some of the ways we have been taught, and then come up with our new ways that work for the environment we have, the situations we have, the problems we have, and then again, remembering the goal is transforming life. So if we are transforming life, do we necessarily need to always go with the British system or the French system? Why can't we have a Kenyan system? Why not? They came up with a system because they had their own issues, right? So why should we continue their issues and continue to put them in our head when it is really not the problem we have? Again, that's just my own contribution to this gathering. Thank you, Dr. Lombo. I'm not going to tell Dr. Kevin about this. So you have no problem, don't be safe. So thank you so much for giving me an opportunity, and thank you, Dr. Lombo. Congratulations for continuing to impact your country. It's really such a big contribution, and please continue to support transforming lives. Each time I drive through the city, I'm looking at the traffic and I'm just saying, oh my God, do people here know they are actually traumatized every day? And if they knew, what are they doing about it? Can they solve it? I think you can, because there is no one else who's going to solve it, right? So there you have the brains, and thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we are going to continue the program. Next, the keynote speaker, Professor KIVUTHA.
Your Excellency, Professor KIBWANA, Professor Lombo, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, can I say good evening? When I came, I shared some notes with Professor here, and we agreed on one thing, that he should have given my part, and my part should have gone to him. That is a coup of some kind, but somehow, when I listen to you, it's like now you are also in the area of education, you performed so well. We are so happy that at least you said almost everything. And in fact, when you meet someone like you, then you don't have much to say. But I want to point out some 2-3 things, probably to reinforce what you said. Then from there, I go to my part. And my part, I will also talk about it, but allow me to just talk about some issues that I found really very important in this letter. That on reading this particular book, I found it very interesting in that the gentleman kept on quoting left, right, and center. And then I wondered, where did he get his time from to read all the books? And then, in case you doubted his quotations, then he referred you to the source. In fact, I think this is honesty, and it lacks in quite a number of people. And I want to say that I'm really grateful to have been given the book, because I've been telling people not to hide, but to be able to give them what is there.
Fortunately, I think we have researchers around, and also found him also teaching researchers. Once you read the book, you will be able to find that he's taking researchers down the memory lane to be able to justify each and every step. And I will say, this is wonderful. You know, when I was reading it, I remembered also my book. Allow me to say what Professor said. Although now I'm just telling him what he said. He said, am I allowed to brag a bit? And really I listened to the way you give it, and I said, this is the way it should be done. So I said, can I also be given permission to brag a bit? I wrote a book on research methods, and this particular book is like, now you read it, although I checked at the end, I did not see my book. So I wondered what happened to it. So I want to say that those people who are now doing their postgraduate, or they want to carry on research, this is a book really to read, because it will help justification on each and every step. The other one that I found very interesting is summary at the end of each chapter. Quite a number of others, they do not do that. Myself, I've written so many, and I don't do that. I don't have that luxury. I also read Professor's what he wrote, and I wondered whether he did that. That summary is really very good, because it helps you to recap, to remember really what you did. And I think this is really wise of you to have done that. There is a gentleman who left, and I wanted to talk about it. When it comes to cataloging of this particular book, really it will be so easy, because it cuts across. I found quite a number of areas, and Professor mentioned one called comparative education, because it compares systems all over the world, and I think this is really classic. I looked at other areas. I found sociology of education is also there, history of education, adult education, other areas. So those people who work in the library, they will have an easy job, because you can put it anywhere and you can still fit. This is not something that is commendable to Professor. So once I say that, then I want to go to my part, that I did not know Professor Lombo until I was introduced to him by my pastor. And I want my pastor, it is important to ask my pastor, just raise his hand, because he's the one who connected me to Professor Lombo. So he's a testy connector. So when he connected me to Professor Lombo, I did not know that he was even writing, but he put me aside and said, I will write a book and I want you to forward it. I said, how will I forward without reading it? But sure enough, he gave me a copy and I read it, cover to cover. And I can say without fear of contradiction that I really liked it. I read it about 5 times, and I want to tell you it's a book that will go to places. Now, before I go to my section, I want to say that when you look at the write-up, when people write books, you want to see a departure, because you don't want to see the normal way of writing books. You want really to see a different style. And I want to say that this one, I found it to be 2-in-1. That one aspect is a real book that you can read as a book, and I read it and I enjoyed it. But the other part, it is a research book giving us the findings. 2-in-1, and I think even the amount that you're asking for, I don't know how much you're asking for. You should double, because you have the book itself and also the research aspect. Is it not something that is commendable? Yeah, so I want to say that at least you did well. So let me go to my section, and I want to say, when you are a guest speaker, it's like you're given a blank check, you can say anything. Mine, I don't want really to go to what others have said, and I think at night, when I saw the list of the speakers today, I said, we may repeat ourselves, but I've found that at least you will avoid in case that I got a point which I put here. So I want to say that writing a book is not easy. Those people have attempted. You struggle, and then you find you have not written anything. So I want to thank you, Professor Lombo, for having even thought of even writing. And even the time of writing, you putting those ideas together in form of a book, it is not easy. And the professor who published the book may have also noted that. As I speak to you, I was even contracted by an American firm. And then I wrote one chapter and I'm done. In fact, the mood disappears from time to time. So I wonder even where you got the time from. This one is a challenge, and I want to point it out as a guest speaker, because guest speakers are saying we don't really deal with the issues that we dealt with. I saw it as a challenge to all of us, including even the old and the young, and ask ourselves, when are we going to what we know down in form of a book? Because it's not easy, but still you have to do it. If Lombo has done it, then we can also do it. And I also checked on something that he did not do, and is a challenge. He did not indicate his age, so that at least when the grandchildren look at it, they can say, if he did it at his age, then why not me? Because I remember when I went to the university, I met an old man who was walking with a walking stick, and I wondered what he was doing at the university. And then I asked him, really, what are you really doing? Are you going to benefit from his education? That was my thinking, and please forgive me for thinking about, for putting the question to him. And he told me one thing, that he's already retired. He knows for sure he will not use that knowledge, but what he wanted was the certificate itself, to put it on the wall there, for his grandchildren to be seeing, if at this age, this particular man made it, why not me, the young ones? And I'm saying, I hope you can revise this one and put your age. You say, if you manage at this age, about these young people who are so young, it's a big challenge, and you could have done it. The other one is that when I looked at the topic itself, it's so topical, and I wonder, and I don't know whether we shall be able to come up with another topic that can also stay with us for a long time. Because when we talk about adult education, it's like 10 years to come, we shall still be having this particular problem. 20 years from now, we shall be having it. So this particular book of yours, I'm telling you, will keep on reading it, and that is how a good scholar does. You are man overseas, so that you keep on telling people, this is how you can remain relevant, that you tell them that you have a book that has managed to stand the test of time. So I think that on that score, you performed very well. And those people are committed. There's something that comes, there's a joy that comes in writing. When you complete it, people interact with your book. Even if you are not there, you feel very good. I remember myself, I have written a book, and quite a number of you can book and get that particular book. It's all over, it has been translated in so many languages. One time I was invited to attend a meeting in Britain, and I went. Ahead of me, there was a gentleman who spoke. And then he quoted extensively from my book. He said, according to Combo and Trump, it was like Combo who was talking, but still he was saying according to. Then when I took off, I see the man who was being introduced is this one, American, and quite a number of you are from America, the standing ovation that you get, I got it in Britain. This is the way it should be done. Yourself, you meet with the high and mighty if you write. If you don't write, you will be meeting with the local people who are not. You can even see Your Excellency is here listening to what you have done. So this is very good, and I want to encourage it. I want also to challenge those people who have not written, who have not thought of writing, so that at least we can be able to, your ideas can be read by others, because that is the only way you can be known. We had something called publish or perish. But it's like, it is disappearing. That we hear that some people have been promoted even without papers, without books, and without these things. So I'm just saying that I wish we can come back in a big way. And to the universities, they have a challenge to make sure that those people do not publish. And I will not name the universities. They should be able to do that. this is a challenge to Professor Lombo and others also, because I understand there are some who are also carrying out their studies and things. I know it's a certain scholar, and he performed very well. I discussed with him his findings, and this is what he told me. When it came to defense of his work, he had written, and I understand this one is out of your research that you did, which is good. But where do you take the findings? You defend them elsewhere, but those people really need to know what you did. The findings that you produced are the people, at least, who will understand, who will really, who have gone through the things that you are talking about. So if we talk about adult education, my challenge to you and to others is that you defend it, you take it to them, and you will be able to tell them. But when I looked at this, these are the problems that I saw. These are the solutions that I saw. With that one, it will have an impact. Because if it is done here and it stops here, then probably here we don't have an adult learner. So the information may not get to the people who matter. My people, am I talking to somebody? Yeah, because when I go to church, I also ask that particular question, whether I'm talking to somebody. No. So this becomes a challenge to all of us, that let the findings be just disseminated to the targeted group, so that at least they can be able to see even what the information they gave, the data that they gave was really used. I am talking about this because there is a friend of mine, unfortunately passed on. He went to Norway, but they agreed in Norway that it was not going to be defended there, it was going to be defended in Western. Whatever he had done, it was taken there, people were executed. So I'm asking also, is it possible that you don't stop here? Your boss, if he's around, you can look for money and you take it to that particular place. And that one will have an impact, even higher than the impact that you get from here. So this should be a paradigm shift, so that at least we are talking to the people who matter, who are present. You know, these days you don't ask people, have you published? You don't ask. You go to internet, and in fact, as I was coming, I even Googled and I checked on you. I found there are already 5 people who have read your book, who have quoted it. And you don't ask, have you done it? In fact, I was even checking about on myself, and I said I found myself, in fact, in Kenya, in the world, I'm also there. How about the others? It's a challenge to all of us, because students who teach, they also go to the internet. Even if you tell them that, in fact, now they are talking to a whole professor, but they want to see this professor when he's ranked, where does he fall? And I'm just saying that beside this particular book, is a challenge to all of us, so that at least every time we write, and we write something that can be quoted. Because I found quite a number of our professors write, and the professors, you know, from US is from down all the way. Here, it is from a certain class. But yours, I'm so happy, at least even when you go to a class, at least you must become a professor. This is very good. I wish I started from there. Because when you are called a professor, you know, it brings another connotation. So I'm just saying that yourself, you have done us proud, and we are happy with what you have done. The discourse, even thinking, reading, and understanding your point of view is something that we should, from time to time, be doing. And I want to challenge you and challenge also the professors who are here, that let's make it also a continuous kind of activity. That here from Kamano, it's known for generating good ideas, including even ideas that go to the government. Can we also make it an annual event that from US and from here, we can even be tabling papers to show that at least we know what it is. So this discourse, let it not stop here. Even when you go there, tell them we are here. Even the publisher, let him know that at least we are willing also to publish. You have seen also another publisher here. He may not even remember me, but I know him. So this is very important, and I'm saying that it is important that we engage with one another, we meet, we discuss, and then from there, I'm so sure that we shall be able to agree on moving forward, whatever issues that we're talking about. When I read the book, I found very useful ideas, but I wondered, can we broaden it? And I want to challenge you and others, even the publisher, because we are talking about repeater, about those people, how do you call it? Yes, dropouts. But besides dropouts, we have repeaters also. And I want to say repeaters have a soft spot for them. Because myself, I also repeated. Because I remember I went during those times those days when education was so difficult, you could go to a private school, an Asian school which was performing so well. So I went there, took exam, then from there I failed. Then when I worked for 3 good years, but because of courage, I went back to school. So repeaters also should be given a chance, so that they are also seen and not be left aside. So I'm saying, as we look at this particular topic of dropouts, what else can we do to make sure that it encompasses all the areas? Because there are also dropouts. They dropped out because of circumstances. Number 2, I wish we can also do it, and it can be an expansion, and I wish this lady was around here, that I wish we can have a case study. These students, when they complete their Form 4 and they go to the university, how do they perform? Because it's something that we can also find out. Because if they go there and waste a lot of time, then why spend a lot of time educating? We want really to have a study that can be documented to find out the next stage when they go there, how do they perform? It is the same, also a trace study to find out if there are those ladies who have gone through this system. When they go to the marketplace, are they using the knowledge? Is it benefiting? So that at least we don't really confine ourselves only to one aspect. We can broaden it up. So this is my take on this, and I say the beauty with now a guest speaker is that you're allowed to go broad. As I was coming, I read about the myth of betrayal. Myth of betrayal, I read about it. And I said, probably I can talk about it. Because, when we talk about girls who have dropped out, boys who have dropped out, in most cases, we come up with the simplistic answers that we say, now this one is pregnancy, this one is this. I remember this particular myth, it was brought out by a certain person who was from Greece. And he wanted really to go to war, and he had a lady, he had a girl, and he wanted to sacrifice that particular girl without letting the girl know that she was going to be sacrificed. Myth of betrayal. When I look at this one, the myth of betrayal, because I this one, and I'm happy at least your background, you seem to have said it, but you did not want to come out very strongly that it is a myth of betrayal. These people, they don't even want to drop out. But circumstances force them to drop out. Because I see even the girls, you may find that there's another reason beside the pregnancy. The boys, they probably have another reason. And that is why I'm saying, probably. And this one, the scholars, we really need to take it up. Understand really, is it the normal simplistic issues, reasons that we come across, that every time you say drop out is a result of this? Probably there is something else. So can we be able to understand? Because when we understand this myth of betrayal, then we'll be able to place the blame where it belongs. We'll be able to blame the parents, we'll be able to blame the society, and we'll be able, with findings, blame the government for not doing what is expected of it. Now, I want also to say that on listening to this, I looked at the book and I repeated, I said I read it 5 times. And I wondered, and the probably is a challenge to all of us. And I sometimes ask people to wonder with me, whether, Professor, there were other young scholars who could have written the book together with you. And this is now mentorship that we should be talking about, to hold the hand of the young people. You tell them, I want us to do this particular paper together. I want us to write this particular book together. There is this man, and allow me to talk about him, called Prof. I don't know how many of you know him. He's a known educationist. He is now 80, celebrated his 80 years. So before he retired, he called me and another lady. He said, now, before I go, I want us to do books. And books, we got one from American Nova and another one, Cambridge University Press. They published our 2 books before he exited. So I'm saying, can we also do the same so that at least we don't do it alone? And even when we are getting credit, we only know it is only combo alone. And I wish you can even check on the books that I've written myself. You will see combo at the end of someone else. And this is the way we can be able to transform this nation. When we are talking, we will be talking with authority that we have mentored. And this is just speaker normally is now saying it is doable because myself have done it, it has been done as well. I want to say also, as we do this, because I'm seeing a paradigm shift before what we have and what we expect, and given also the circumstances, is that people are changing from white-collar jobs to these other jobs. And probably, as we do these dropouts, can we think, because there are some, even if you tell them to go back to school, they will not even manage it. Will you kill them? And this is the question that I want to ask Lombo and Professor Lombo and others. Will you kill them? Because you have said we have given them a chance. What else can you do? I'm saying that white-collar job, yes, for those who are able, and the book should come out like that one. And I'm also thinking on how I will craft yours. And probably when we read, I will be able to read the chapters that we have written. White-collar jobs, those ones who are able. And then these others, for those who are not able academically. And with that one, we'll be able to bring out the people who can be useful. Because if we don't do that, then probably we shall condemn them, because not everyone is able. And I remember a certain person called Chinua Achebe. Chinua Achebe said one thing, and it's what I want really to quote, because I'm really becoming a darling of Chinua Achebe. He said, if you look only in one direction, your neck will become stiff. If you look only in one direction, your neck will become stiff. So if it is these particular dropouts, we are looking at them and we are telling them, go back to school, education, and you can see that they can't understand. Even if you keep on pumping the information, can we check? Can we change the strategy? And that is now what we're doing. So I want to say, this CBC, in my university, I seem to have been, I was a dean for about 5 years, and I realigned the curriculum to CBC. And there is something that I really need also to borrow from here, called talents. Dropouts. Can we be able to identify their talents and be able to strengthen those talents? For those ones who are able to go that direction of education, fine. Those ones who are able to go to these other areas, and with that one, we'll be able to help so much. So having said that, because I don't want to take a lot of time, I want also to say, in conclusion, I want also to give you an African proverb. And it is a challenge to all of us. And the interpretation, I will not interpret. I want you to interpret this particular proverb yourself. It says, a cat that dreams of becoming a lion must begin with losing appetite for cats. If you want really to make an impact, you start the walk now. Having said that, I want to say you have done us proud, that we shall keep on talking about you in the years to come. Because if it were not for you, we would not be here. And then the others, thank you for listening to me. And I want to comment the book in case you want to read. Thank you so much.
Yes, those are great stuff. A lot of stuff getting from the speakers for there. And I had that opportunity of sitting in the middle of the professors. When I grow up, I want to be one. We are going contribution to academia. Professor Kansa, please. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock. I think we've stayed here for too long, and so I'll be very short. I find this book to be very interesting. You heard that Prof here said, I taught him. He's an adult, right? So what I'm saying is, we teach adults. Yeah. And this book is very helpful for those of us whose training involved adults. Because adults cannot be treated like 18-year-old, 16-year-olds. They come to school with a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, and the teacher is not one who knows everything. And so we create an environment for them to share what their experiences are. We might say they dropped out, but being dropped out doesn't mean that you are not smart. That's smart. They have gained something, they have learned something in life. And if they bring this to their learning, processing, it will enhance all of us, our work. And so I want to commend my teacher. As he said, he taught me many years back. I think it was 1986, 87, so it's a long time. And when I connected with him, I was surprised. He called me and I said, this is a pleasant surprise. Because we used to work closer here at, what is that place? When you were at FIBA, yes. Yeah, I was also working closely there, and so we used to talk. And then we lost contact. So when I saw the book, I was very happy about it because I thought this will also be helpful for those of us who are in the academia and we are teaching adults and not just 18-year-old boys and girls. And I think I have learned a lot. I have learned your terms, pedagogy, but yes, and something. And Prof was right to say, we were trained in our field, but we were not trained as teachers. But then we are teaching. So if we are teaching, we have to learn some techniques about teaching, which we have done. So I think this book will be very helpful. And I am praying that I wish the government officials were here to hear the things we are saying. Just one. Yeah. And I don't know how powerful that person is, what he can change. Yeah. So I hope that we'll take this seriously and at our own levels where we have influence to be able to apply the principles we have here. And I hope we'll be able to transform the lives of other people if we follow some of the suggestions made in this book in terms of teaching adults. You remember, I have intentionally, ignored the word dropouts. Yes. Because the people we teach, they are not dropouts. They didn't have the opportunities some of us had. And so we thank God for that. And thank you for this. I will ensure that I'm going to leave this one I bought in our library and ensure that people read it because I think it will be a blessing to the academy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Tansa. We are almost there. We are doing well. We'll be finished in not long. So this book has been downloaded over the world 20,000 times. So there's a lot of downloads. People are reading it. So it's a lovely book. We're coming to a time.
Yes, if you Google second chance for school dropouts in Kenya, the book is in the internet. You'll be able to see it.
Thank you. We're coming to the time now why we are here to launch the book. And I'm going to call Professor Lombo and Professor Wanyama.
Yes, this is now the time we have been waiting for officially. All that has been said about this has been waiting for this occasion, has been building a climate towards the final stage, which is officially launching this book in Nairobi, Kenya. And therefore, it's my pleasure to officiate and launch this book officially. For the cameras, I want us to be taken here, the pictures of the book. Yes, anybody who went out that way? Yes. So that the name of the author and the title is well displayed. And thank you all for coming. You came in the numbers that will make sense to this occasion. We are not complaining. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The book has been launched. So if you got one, please make a point before you leave Professor Lombo to sign it. So that it will be a different book, not from the one you get from the Amazon. We are going for 2 or 3 people to speak for congratulations, and we'll start with Dr. Leonard Lombo, just a short congratulatory speech, then we'll move from there.
Good evening. I was supposed to give a lot of thanks. I wish again to pass congratulations to Professor. I don't want to repeat myself, but I knew him back in '85 when he was ministering to us as students of high school. And it's many years ago. And he was a great minister. He would show up in his house and eat. I don't know how he used to have a lot of food, but no appointment. So thank you very much. I am also training adults, and I will benefit a lot. I teach in the Management University of Africa, and adults, of course. Now I have a new passion to train pastors. We'll talk more about that. I'm glad to see Professor KIVUTHA. I think I read almost each of the books he has written. When I was doing my PhD, I was thirsty for African scholars books, because the Western books. Until I met one, then I laughed. Walking with Jesus, something. I think when I saw that, I laughed because I read all the books in constitution, corruption, everything else. And thank you very much. So God bless you, all of you, and thank you for those who organized this event, making it happen. These 2 people are UK and US, and the team that has been coordinating these things. We thank you sincerely. And we thank all of you for the patience of waiting here, sitting there, and listening. God bless you, and everybody else. Feel appreciated. Let's give a clap for our church.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Leonard. Another short talk from Dr. Leonard.
Thank you very much. I don't know if people are going on that side. Is it okay to be on the side?
It's okay.
First, I want to say thank you for being gender sensitive. So far, only men have spoken.
She spoke.
And she's back. Thank you. Being gender sensitive, and therefore, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity, Professor Lombo. We come from very far. Standard 1 together. When we went to secondary school, we would meet at home and we were the leaders of the church until we joined guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare in the 70s was those who got saved and they went terrorizing churches because we were young and very vibrant. Then we went different ways. It's a pleasure to have seen this book and to know the thirst for learning did not end at our primary schools. And also to know that the factors that hinder our learning can be overcome, because we say where there is a will, there is a way, and especially with the help of God. When I saw this name, Professor Lombo, I usually see Combo. I usually see Combo without Kisilu. Is he the one who wrote research methods? What? What? Thank you for that book. It helped me throughout my research. That was the main book that I used when I was doing my research. I think I asked my husband, Professor Lewa, is this Combo? Combo I thought was from elsewhere, but Kisilu I know where Kisilu comes from. I know where Kisilu comes from, but no, this Combo. Thank you very much. That shows that writing helps, because when you start and you are supposed to do a research and you are supposed to do a defense, you don't know where to start. But books like this give you a way of how to start. Thank you very much for coming up with a book which can help us. I remember teaching teachers at Kenya Science, and we didn't have real African methodology research that we can use. So we were using whatever methods we learned. So here, I think we'll have good reason to use our own methods. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your name. Thank you. We are just about to finish now. But we want to recognize Professor Okudo. We just comment. One research, we understand the retired professor, and was a professor, always a professor with us. So just 1 minute, and then we shall go to the next. Yes. Please tell us what you're doing. That's it. Yes, in a very, very short time.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert KIVUTHA. I'm a retired professor at the University of Lombo. And I know you guys came from rural area, urban centers. I started urbanization in the US, and that's what I've been teaching here. So if you have any problem with the city, just let me know, we'll solve it. Because failing to plan, ladies and gentlemen, planning to fail. But now I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Sober Books and Periodical Distributors Limited. I have orders here for some books to go to the US. I'm going to buy those. among other books. The publisher knows. Yeah. So that's what I do. Otherwise, I'm from geographical capital of Eastern Africa, Usinga Island. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Okudo. Yeah, it's a great honor to be with you here. We are coming almost to the end of the program. First, I want to thank you for sitting down there and listening. And all this time, I know we are busy. I know you have so much programming to be done, but you managed to create some time for this. Mtu alisema mtu ni watu na watu ndio sisi. Yeah, those who understand that language. So, thank you for coming. Now, I want us to we started with prayer. We want to finish with prayer. And I want to call Reverend Owen Kimoro to come and do benediction.
Praise the Lord. Amen. I am not a professor, but they say if you walk with 5 millionaires, maybe you'll become the 6th one. So sitting among professors, relating with professors, who knows? Maybe before I go home, I'll have become one. Yeah. Praise the Lord. I am a pastor. That's why I've come starting differently from the way the professors have come. I am happy to be among you. I've learned a lot. Actually, I've been encouraged, I've been incited, and Dr. Lombo has always tried so much to pull me along. I have known Lombo for a long, long time. We have been together, we've worked together, we have slept in the same house, the same bed, together.
I thought you would say that these days.
Yeah, you don't say that. I was there when he was telling his sweetheart, I do, and she said it's the same. I stood by them, and I'm so grateful. The other day when I was in the US with him, he took me to his class. I attended his lecture. I attended his lecture, and I was so encouraged. And as I think of him, his journey, this scripture came to my mind. Me, I'm praying the last prayer. So this scripture came to my mind, and I just want to read it and then say something, then I will pray. The scripture that came to mind, I told you I'm a pastor, so it may not be very relevant to the academia. This is what came to my mind. And he said to them, how is it that you had to look? Did you not see and you know that it is necessary as a duty for me to be in my Father's house and occupied by my Father's business? But they did not comprehend what he was saying to them. Just like maybe now you may not be understanding why I'm reading this in a forum like this one. But looking at Lombo, I knew Lombo as early as 1977-78. Yes. And I've watched him as he has moved. I have kind of read his intentions. And I've seen it's like somebody who was focused. There is something that he was going after. And he really pursued it. He went to Bible school after Bible school, became a pastor, but still there's something that he was still following. He pursued education, and not just education, but he was looking for something that he would be helpful to the community. I think it's Professor or Doctor who was saying, serving the community. And that is something that I've seen him pursue. And I think it has culminated to this day. The book that he has written is not about him. It's not for making money. It's about helping or meeting a need in a community, a need in a nation. And not just a nation, but I think a need for humanity per se. And it's culminated to this day. And so, like they have said, we are proud of that. Lord bless you so much. And so I want to say that this is a challenge to all of us. Somebody has said, if you want to be successful or to be recognized, then meet the needs of the people. Once you do that, then you'll be valued among the community. And I think that's one of the things that he has done, and I'm so grateful. For Dr. Wanyama, Professor Wanyama, I look at you as you talk, and I just see my brother in you. I have a brother called Masafu Kingoro, Haman Masafu Kingoro. And the journey you have walked is like the journey he has walked. And even when you so maybe we will talk more about it. Otherwise, I'm so grateful for all of you coming, blessing this occasion. I think it's one of the few forums that I've started, and I'm so grateful. I'm humbled to be here, and I believe that this will motivate me even to also want to do this. I worked with my wife. Right behind me there. God bless you. The Lombos are so great friends to us, and he made me go to America first. Now I've been to America 4 different times, courtesy of Lombo and Juliana. They are so great people to visit America to see. Bwana asifiwe sana. I don't have much to say because I was called to pray. May I kindly and humbly request us to stand as we pray. Let's pray together. Precious Father, in the name of Jesus, we just want to say thank you for this great opportunity that you have given to each one of us to be in this occasion that you yourself ordained from the foundations of the earth, that we'll be here. God, the way you knew your servant before he was formed in his mother's womb and charted the path for him. And God, you have said in your word, I know the plans that I have for you. They are plans for good and not for evil, to give you a hope and a future. That's exactly how you have carried on your servant to this day. And we are so grateful to be part of this, to witness this. And Jehovah God, we want to pray that you give him life, more years, even to do much more for humanity. We just want to say thank you. I pray for every year will not be an end, and those that are writing will not be tired, but they continue writing so that they can challenge the lives of other people and make them better. Precious Father, we just thank you. Thank you for everyone. We commit each one of us into your holy hands and pray that you release your blessings upon us so that, Jehovah God, as we go to our respective places, your holy angels shall go before us, shall come after us, shall be on our side. Your presence shall accompany us. You will lead us, Jehovah God, in the roads that we are going to drive. The jammed roads, the crowded roads, but we are praying that your presence shall lead us and guide us so that when we get to our respective homes safely, we will be careful to give you glory and honor.